Hello, everyone. Thank you for tuning in to the Black Market News. You're here with your host, Randy Walter, and we are here at the new Black Wall Street Marketplace. Now, there's been a talk about the new Black Wall Street. People are talking about it not only in Tulsa, Oklahoma, but Oklahoma City, all the way down to Las Vegas, Dallas, New York. Man, the word is really getting out there. And so today, it was only right to bring on the show. We have the CEO and the founder of the new Black Wall Street Marketplace. We have Mike Hall with us here on the set.
Hey, well, thank you, Randy. Appreciate you for bringing me here.
Oh yeah, man, no problem, man. It was only right to bring you on the show because there is a lot of talk going on about the new Black Wall Street Marketplace, and there are a lot of questions out there. You know what I mean? So first, before we go into this, first tell me, what is the new Black Wall Street Marketplace?
It's a market for black business to come together and train on how to become a black market.
The black market, and like, where did this like come from? Like, why did you?
You know, I started the black market and stuff, and I was sitting in a room with I started the black market. I was invited down to Tulsa to see, the Black Wall Street Museum and all that. When I went and viewed all the house and the museum and stuff, you know, and I kept saying, dang, it was a black market. So I was like, well, and they burned it down. I was like, well, dang, every time somebody burns something down, God would always send somebody back to rebuild it. I got thinking, well, shoot, I was in the stock market a long time. I know a lot about stocks and stuff like that. So I decided that.
Wow, that's an interesting question. So you saying, so when you said, so you actually went down to Tulsa and you went to that museum, and you checked it out, and you
Right.
saw, and you wondering why it haven't been rebuilt again. Like, dang, like, shoot, they got knocked down.
Yeah.
Right.
So if it get burned down, let's rebuild it. And I said for us to, so when I was looking at the museum and everything, and the lady asked me did I have a question, so I said, what would it take to rebuild, Black Wall Street? And she said it was gonna take people with a entrepreneur spirit. And I said, wow, that was definitely me. I definitely have an entrepreneur spirit. And I know you had an entrepreneur spirit. So I got to thinking, well, it's time to bring all those entrepreneur spirit together. Once we bring those entrepreneur spirit together, then I feel.
And it sounds like that's what you've been doing because you guys like held a few meetings now, and
Right.
and it looked like from watching the video on Facebook that it turned out like pretty good. Like has people sign up.
Well, we built the market, we didn't know what we was doing, we was practicing. I said, well, if I'm gonna build a market, we need a place to practice. If we're gonna become people's coming together, so we need a place to practice. So I decided to build the new Black Wall Street Marketplace to let business come together so we can practice on how to bring an entrepreneur spirit together and build something for the people.
Now, and the name is a pretty bold name. Now we got
Uh-huh.
the Black Wall Street. That name right there carries a lot of weight, right there in itself. And just with the word black being put out there, because we know here now in the community, like the Asians can have their part of town, but when black people do something, that word black seems like it can't be all black. You know what I mean?
It just seemed like to me, black folks is scared of that word black. Black folks, it's like my granddaughter came over to the new Black Wall Street Marketplace, and she wanted me to take her some senior pictures, and I'm waiting on her to come in. Next thing I know, she done called me on my cell phone saying, come out here and get me. And I was like, why you need me to come get me? I'm scared. So I goes out there, and she was in the car just sitting up there. I said, wow, you just taught me something, because I did not know black folks were scared of black folks. She's scared to get out of the car, and I've been down here like 2 months at the new Black Wall Street,
Right.
and everybody down here, I hadn't seen nothing but loving people down here. I think we judge people because the way they are, because they black. We need to judge blacks by their heart instead of the way they look. They have a right to look the way they want to look, to represent the way they want to look.
So look, so with knowing this, so is the new Black Wall Street, is that a racist group? Is what I'm asking.
No, it's not a racist group. It's just that You know, I was in a meeting one day, and it was a guy in there, and they asked me, you know, could white people invest in the new Black Wall Street marketplace? I told them I didn't have no problem with black folks investing in the new Black Wall Street or having a business in the new Black Wall Street. And he said, well, we shouldn't let them in because they ain't let us in. And then I was like, wow, you know, I was on Wall Street. I was there for 9 years. I was there at least 15 years and still there. But I know when I started investing into the stock market, I had zero amount of money. And I started reading those stock markets and learning and studying the stock market. And it wasn't no problem them let me in. I got in. And within 9 years, I had turned nothing into $390,000. So they did let me in their market.
Okay.
I don't have no problem letting them in my market.
I see what you're saying. So you're saying white people can invest in it. So
That's it.
they can, okay.
That's it. And everybody in the new Black Wall Street is investing in black. Why would if a white person came up right now and said, "Man, I got $10,000. I want to invest in your clothing line," why would I not let him invest?
Right.
Okay, but it's competition. This is democracy in Black Wall Street. If a white boy come in there with a clothing line and he can sell his clothing line better than you, I don't have a problem. Competition is good. Competition make you better.
Right. So now, one of the third thing I want to ask is, are you attempting to steal, Tulsa's history? If not, then like, what are you trying to do?
Nah, you can't steal that history down there. That history was made. That's why we call it the new Black Wall Street. When I went down to Tulsa at the museum, they called me out to see the museum. And I was going around looking at all of the burning pictures of the bombs they sent those down and all this, you know what I mean? And the lady kept asking me that having a question. I said, well, I just see it all, then I asked a few questions. So I kept looking, and I'm a photographer, I'm an artist, and I have an artist's eye. So I'm looking in the museum thinking I would be able to read to get a recipe even out of the pictures, you know what I mean? Because I feel like even those pictures down in the cave, those people drawed all the pictures in them caves they found back in Egypt. And those pictures is telling a story where it's like a recipe in there if somebody can break that recipe down. So I was trying to do that. And then, so I watched everything. Then at the end, she asked me, did I have a question? I said, well, one thing I was looking for in the museum is where the people had a share in this Black Wall Street. So
right. So you saying?
Go ahead.
So what you saying is that was this Black Wall Street the same kind of like Black Wall Street that took place in New York, or is there like you can have ownership in it, and it was like where you could invest into it like as like a market?
Right. That's where I always thought Black Wall Street was just like that New York, that the people could buy shares and invest in and all that. But then she more said it was just a group of people in a community because they were forced to live in that community where it made them grow because they were forced to do business with each other, and then to see how quick that grew.
And this time took place before integration, right? This was a period of time when black folks couldn't go to a white restaurant.
Right. You had to, we even had a black market down in Idabel, and downtown Idabel, we all had our business in the alley. You couldn't go through the front door, you could go through the back door. Even in Idabel, I was like in the 4th grade and stuff back then, and when you go in the back door and to their restaurant and order something, well, you couldn't sit at the counter and eat it. You had to take it with you, you know what I mean? So we were forced to, but even in Idabel, they forced us in that alley.
Right.
And just like in Tulsa, as me growing up, wow, I seen some entrepreneurs, some rich folks in Idabel who owned all the houses, mechanics. I seen all that because they were forced to do it. And it was everybody doing it for themselves. Then it wasn't like New York where me being 4 years old in the 4th grade, my mother could buy me shares in that Black Wall Street market.
Right.
There wasn't no shares for sale. It's people were forced to do something, and some people came out on top. Right. Our market it's a market where it's for the people. And it's for the people to come out from underground to above ground and be able to invest into their own market. And you not.
So you're saying you can get your kids, they can get a certificate of ownership in this also.
That's it. We want everybody to have ownership in this market, not just one man in Idabel who owned all the houses and stuff in Idabel and had the biggest pretty car in Idabel. This is about where we all can invest into this market. But the difference between they market back then, they were forced to have a market. This market, you have a choice to have a market. And we ask you to make that choice. Come join Black Wall Street Marketplace. If you want to be, we got 3 ways that you can join. You can be an investor, you could be a merchant, and you could be a buyer. Those 3 things is what we need. That's the trifecta of Black Wall Street. And we want you to be an investor. And if you got a business idea, you got a product to sell, we want you to be there too. But, you know, if we make a market with nothing but sellers, we have no market. We need the sellers and we need the buyers. But just because you're not a seller, you still gonna be able to make money off the new Black Wall Street Marketplace. Because the marketplace, one thing the marketplace is not, it's not my marketplace, it's our marketplace. And the person who owns the more certificate, well, then that's the person who's gonna believe the most. That they believe in every way. And every day I can, like this weekend, shit, I bought some certificates for my grandbaby. I got a new grandbaby, I'm going to a baby shower this weekend. And they invite me out to the baby shower. I'm stopping by the new Black Wall Street Marketplace, and I'm gonna buy her some certificates. And when I go to that baby shower, that is what I'm presenting her with, some certificate, because
man, that sounds wonderful. I ain't never even heard about a kid getting a certificate for her birthday. You know,
no, this ain't even for her birthday. She's not born yet. Yeah. This is a baby shower. That baby's in the belly.
Oh, okay, for the baby shower.
That baby's in the belly, but the baby that baby gonna get somebody to invest in her. When she come out of that womb, she gonna know somebody loved her enough to make an investment in her, because that's what didn't happen to us. Didn't nobody make an investment in us. You know, I was really trying to learn Tulsa history of the Black Wall Street and all this and all that. And that's another thing. When I went in that museum, I said, wow, I get to go in the museum. Maybe I can see the recipe. You know what I mean? I would think if the recipe was there, then we could teach it to everybody. And so the other question I asked the lady, I said, I noticed y'all got a lot of stuff of, the burning up and building getting bombed, and got all this in the museum, and the people who started and the people who was there. Really, I came down here, I just want to see that y'all have the recipe, that they burn up the recipe of Black Wall Street, because that was the most important thing.
Right.
Those building. Okay.
So that's what you're trying to implement, and that's what you're trying to get black folks to carry on that same tradition that was back in the until it got burnt up in 1921, but to bring that same recipe back on how those black people was successful.
Yeah, and so I was thinking, like, when I decided to build a new Black Wall Street Marketplace, I knew one thing: I was gonna need a recipe. So I was thinking, if I'm thinking that we need a recipe in the old days, in the 1920s or whenever it happened, that it would be a recipe that how did they get to all that prosperity? Because Oklahoma ain't nothing. Oklahoma was came a state in 1906, 7, and 1921. Within 1907 to 1921, black folks that went that prosperity in that little bit of time, 10 or 15 years, they end up being all that. Then I was just saying, that we can do it too.
Why and how do you feel a Black Wall Street will help the black community?
It was help the community by getting us a measuring rod in our community. You know what I mean? We can set we can say spend money with black, spend money with this. I want to know how much money is being spent over in our community. If we spending $1,000 a day in our community, then we got something to measure that we can start growing and put a measuring rod to it. In Black Wall Street, every business that's in Black Wall Street, at the end of the day, they will report their number. We will show what the market done for the day. At the end of the day, we getting a horn. We're gonna blow the horn saying the market is closed, and we're gonna report. Black Wall Street marketplace is like, what we trying to do is like when Harry Tucker took people's on the Underground Railroad.
Right.
Okay, at that particular time, that was a good thing to do. But now we need a plan to get people out from underground and come above ground. And coming above ground, that means you got to report your numbers, how much money you're making. You got to report everything, and it's like, and pay our taxes and do everything right. And it's hard for one person to do it, but we got to do it together as a community and show that, look, I mean, here, us as a community, we got a measure right on it. We done paid $100,000.
So what you saying is that with all the bootlegging that's going on with the movies and stuff, and just people kind of getting over buying food with food stamps and then going to go sell it, you saying that it's time for us to finally get legit? You know
Yeah,
what I mean?
we really got to go legit. We can't have a market, cheating. We got to be able to compete on a global, on a state, national, global market. But we can't join the marketplaces and be cheating and trying to play unfair. We got to play by the rules of the game. If us black folks come together and we play by the rule of the game, it's like playing by the rule of the game of basketball. At one point, when blacks were playing basketball, they found out we could dunk. They wouldn't let us dunk, so we had to learn how to shoot. Well, all of a sudden, they let us dunk, and now blacks are controlling the game. They try to make the rules and regulations where it's hard for you to get in, but eventually the people going to want the best. And if the best jumping over that rim and dunking, they don't care what color you.
That's a good way to put it, man. So it's also sounding like you got a lot of faith in the black people, man. What is the potential? What do you think the black people?
The potential of becoming from 0 to 100. Do you know how much money you can make from going from 0 to 100? You know what? I want to bet, and I couldn't find nowhere I could bet on black. So I'm building a market. So now Oklahoma, the world, you're going to be able to bet on black.
Man, that sounds like a powerful statement right there. Bet on black, man.
Yeah, bet on that. We need to make a t-shirt out of that. Bet on black.
That's it.
And every one of them t-shirts we sell is going toward feeding some blacks.
All right, can anyone shop at all the businesses?
Not only they're going to be able to shop at all the business, but the experience they're going to get of shopping at all black business. Selling is giving a person service. We're going to have to have the best service you can. The only way you can please your customer is service.
They said service is very important. They say at jobs, people buy not for your product, but for the service that you have.
Right.
Even at Walmart, they found out that when you greet the person coming in the store, that one thing is they're gonna be less likely to steal. But then the second thing is that their percentage goes up on their purchases.
It's one thing, the philosophy of service, because I think sometimes we don't understand service. You know what I mean? So I'm gonna give you the philosophy of service.
Okay.
The philosophy of service is not running your mouth. It's working for that customer at all times. It's like a job. You go to a job and they paying you $35 an hour. For that whole hour, you need to be moving, not talking about what you're going to do. So when the person come in the store, you have to work for that person. That person needs, and you have to listen to that customer. Because we want that customer to have such a good experience. If we can't beat them with a good experience,
right,
then we whooped.
So it sounds like you also want the black people, and also showing that you want to put the scale and measure on how good black people's services are, and reward them for that.
That's it. That's it. It's all about your service and stuff. You know, they didn't choose us to be slaves because we had poor service back then. They knew the athletic ability and the service that we can provide with this athletic body. You got to take your athletic body and serve your customers just like you do on that basketball court. You know, it's like I was on that, and then how I learned that I was on that basketball court, and for the first time, somebody videoed me playing the basketball, and man, I just got the ball in my hand. I'm just all over everywhere with the ball in my hand. Then all of a sudden, I didn't have the ball in my hand. I'm just sitting there. You know what I mean? So I was giving my team poor service, just sitting there,
Right.
waiting on the ball. No, you got to move around. You can't never stop moving. You got to move.
Right, man. That's it. And check this out, and man, one thing people was worried about, because you know the reason why Black Wall Street even came to an end is because it was attacked. It was the first time in history that any bombs, from any airplane bombs, you know, we fell down in America, and that was a time when they also called the Black Wall Street Little Africa. They was attacked, you know what I mean, by the white people within their community. So people want to know is, how can you ensure white people won't attack and destroy Black Wall Street again?
You know, love won't be the answer to all that, man. Our only weapon we got is love. All we can do is love people. You know what I'm saying? If that don't beat them, I don't know another weapon. It's like, you know, I can't build an atomic bomb, so I'm just gonna go with loving them. And I guarantee you, you know, that's one thing Jesus taught me, how to love them. You gotta love your enemies, and that's the secret of beating them.
Right, that's it, man. Yeah, but people want to know though too. People want to. They say that yeah, we supposed to, you know what I mean, love, and we gotta love, you know what I mean, at all times, and you know what I mean, and turn the other cheek. But there are some black people who don't believe that philosophy. Like if they actually come up with some guns and come up to attack, it's like within the Black Wall Street, are they gonna be like some type of arms even teaching people on how to even to protect themselves?
You know what? In Black Wall Street, we need everything in Black Wall Street. It's one thing we're gonna have is a security company in Black Wall Street who can secure it. Though, it's no need to build nothing if you can't secure it and you can't protect it and you can't serve it. Black Wall Street gonna have to be served, and it needs a lot.
So you saying within the organization is gonna be like a protection sector?
That's it. It's like, yes, it's like when you come to the market, yeah, we will have security for you at the market. Just like you go to their mall, they got security. The world's getting crazy out here. Yeah, we can't give them service if we ain't giving them security.
What kind of businesses, you know what I mean, are you recruiting? What kind of businesses are you looking for within the Black Wall Street?
We need every business else. Every business that's on Wall Street in New York, we need every service. We need janitor. We need people who can clean houses. You know what I mean? Service is about the richest thing that you can be able to afford is service. You understand? You know, we're out here buying these big cars, but a rich man, the first thing he gonna buy himself is some service. He'll get him a driver. Just think about all y'all would love somebody just you being able to afford a driver that stop and pick you up, drop you off at the wonderful party. This world is really getting so cold now. Then, you know, with the laws now, drinking and driving and all that, so people is willing to pay for service once we identify what service, the job subscription of service.
There's one more question. We have one last question. Is there a background check?
You know what? No, it's not a background check because I bought shares on New York Stock Exchange every day. I was a day trader, and not one time they asked me for a background check. It don't take a background check to love to invest.
Right, that's it. Everyone, we would like to thank you for staying tuned in. We just got done talking with Mike Hall, who just explained the new Black Wall Street marketplace, how it works. Those were some questions that we was getting from the people within our community. You know what I mean? Things that they want to know. So we put this show together today so that way that we can service our people, because that's what we're trying to do, and ultimately that is what the new Black Wall Street is all about. So share this message. Give it to everyone who wants to know anything about the new Black Wall Street, who have questions about it. We will be holding a meeting on Sunday, March 6th, 2016. If you hear this message, please come out to that meeting. We'll be able to inform you and give you detailed information on how the market works, your role in the market, and how we are going to grow the market. I'm your host, Randy Walter, the Black Market News. Thanks for tuning in, and see you again next time.